This is the universe speaking to you. You are now tuned into the Modern Spiritual Life Coaching Podcast by the certified master life coach and spiritual guide, Coach Chip. Welcome, souls. We now begin this episode of a transformational journey. Unedited, unscripted, and creating something from nothingness. Now, let there be light on Modern Spiritual Life Coaching.
I am Sally, from Culver City, California. This is episode 138 of the Power Half Hour of the Modern Spiritual Podcast, presenting H.G. Wells' The Prediction of the Internett. That's coming up next.
You think that I should calm down, and that I'm overthinking everything about you, and that we're good the way we are. But I don't know that much about you, what things you like and what you don't. It's not that long since I met you for the first time. You know we should work it out. You know we should work it out. Before I'm too invested, I should probably ask you all my questions, get to know you better. Like, can you be trusted? Will you take me for granted? And will you let me down? I know I'm feeling something for you. The way you look, the way you laugh, and how you move. It kinda makes me go crazy. But we should take it slow, work things out so you don't let me go. When I come real close, I don't wanna get hurt, 'cause I'm not ready to give you my heart yet. Before I'm too invested, I should probably ask you all my questions, get to know you better. Like, can you be trusted? Will you take me for granted? And will you let me down? Before I'm too invested, you should take it easy. Maybe we could test this and work out our feelings. Baby, will I love you? Tell me, do you want me? And will you let me down? Yeah. La 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 Before I'm too invested, I should probably ask you all my questions, get to know you better. Like, can you be trusted? Will you take me for granted? And will you let me down? Before I'm too invested, you should take it easy. Maybe we could test this and work out our feelings. Baby, will I love you? Tell me, do you want me? And will you let me down?
Now you can get notified when Modern Spiritual Podcast launches something new within our community. You will be the first to get the note via text message. All you have to do is text the word Modern Spiritual, then text 22828 and reply. That's 22828. Text the word Modern Spiritual 22828. It is that fast and simple to get the note from Modern Spiritual Podcast. Data rates may apply depending on your cellular carrier network.
Now here's your host, Master Certified Alchemy Coach Chip, on the Modern Spiritual Podcast Live.
And here we go on the Power Half Hour of... here it goes. Oh, and let me get this back going here. Trying to start it off on the right note, but I guess not. We got an exciting podcast going on for you right here this afternoon on the Power Half Hour. I'm Alchemy Coach Chip from Eloy, Arizona to all around the world and out to the universe and back and beyond and all places unknown. And we got a very interesting one called H.G. Wells back in 1937 when he predicted the Internet. And we have the original recording here, and we're going to learn more about H.G. Wells, and we're going to hear that recording. And then after this, we're going to go into a motivational speech and have a meditation. So hold on, because this is going to get really awesome with this type of recording. That's a very rare recording. So let's get into it right here on the Modern Spiritual Podcast Live.
Who is Herbert George Wells? From September 21st, 1866 to August 13th, 1946, he was an English writer. Prolific in many genres, he wrote dozens of novels, short stories, and works of social commentary, history, satire, biography, and autobiography. His work also included 2 books on recreational war games. Wells is now best remembered for his science fiction novels, and is often called the father of science fiction. The prediction by Wells of a method of sourcing books from anywhere in the world via bibliographies eventually came to pass thanks to the rise of the Internet. Amazon Books was founded by Jeff Bezos in 1994 and began trading the following year. Having diversified into toys, DVDs, and music, Amazon.com is now North America's largest online retailer, with subsidiaries in China, France, Germany, Japan, and the UK. Now here's H.G. Wells, the original audio sound from 1937, broadcasting from the Empire Broadcasting Company. H.G. Wells, the prediction of the Internet. Exclusively on the Modern Spiritual Podcast, Power Half Hour.
I find myself on the air for the Empire Broadcasting Service, free to speak for a quarter of an hour on practically any subject that occurs to me, under this most liberating title of As I See It. As I Think About It would have been a better title. What I see is a brightly lit desk, a lamp, a microphone. But what I am thinking about is a great number of listeners in all sorts of rooms and places all around the world. We are, I guess, an extremely various and scattered lot indeed. Race, religion, colour, age. We have probably only one thing in common. We speak, write, and understand English. I want to talk about the community to which we belong. I see it as a tremendous world brotherhood, full of possibilities and full of promise for the common understanding of all mankind. I have been asked by the Empire Broadcasting Service to make this talk, but it is quite an uncontrolled talk, or I would not give it. I hold no brief for the Empire as such. Widely as it extends, it does not include the larger part of this English-speaking brotherhood of ours, which is, to my mind, something infinitely more real, more important, and more permanent. I spent this autumn in the United States. I was lecturing there about intellectual organization in schools and universities, and I talked with all sorts of people. We all talked the same language, in the same idiom of thought. We understood each other pretty thoroughly, yet we were drawn from the most diverse sources. It is a common mistake among English people to suppose that Americans are just English people transplanted. From the very beginning, the United States were of diverse origin. The Swedes, the Dutch, Germans, the French in Louisiana, the Spanish in California were there as soon as the New Englanders. Afterwards there was an enormous influx of Eastern Europeans. And again in the British Empire itself, there is a great assembly of once alien peoples drawn together into a common interchange, from the Eskimo to the Maori. But the English language has amalgamated, or is amalgamating, all these elements into a great cosmopolis, whose citizens can write to each other, speak freely and plainly to each other, exchange, acquire and modify ideas with a minimum of difficulty. Once or twice before in history there's been such a synthesis, in the Latin world, in the Semitic world, but never on such a vast scale as in this English-speaking world in which we live and think today. And English has never been forced upon these multitudes who speak it now. They were never subdued to it or humiliated by it. They've taken it up freely, and they use it because it serves them best. Now, the thing that impresses me most about this English-speaking community is this, that it is not breaking up, and does not look like breaking up, into different languages. In the past, that sort of thing did occur. Latin, as you know, broke up into French, Italian, Castilian, Catalan, and so on. But since then, a vast change has occurred in the conditions of human life. The forces of separation have been dwindling. The forces that bring us nearer to one another have been increasing. The printed word, books, newspapers, the talking movie, the radio, increasing travel, increasing trade. And all these things now forbid dispersal. History has gone into reverse. Instead of being divergent, we converge. We English speakers are being drawn together and learning more and more about each other. This reversal has been going on ever since the steamship and the railways appeared a century ago. It goes on faster and faster. In the past, new dialects were continually appearing. Now, dialects are disappearing. The curse of Babel has been lifted from over 300 million people. And having got this unprecedented instrument of thought spread all about the world, a net of understanding, what are we English speakers doing with it to get the best out of it? Are we growing into one mighty community of ideas and sympathies as rapidly as we might do? I do not think we are. Something, I admit, is being done, but nothing like what might be done if we grasped our possibilities to the full. Let me tell you, as briefly as I can, one or two of the things that might be done to make this great gift of a common language better worthwhile. First, about books. Nothing can pull our minds together as powerfully as books. We all want to read books according to our interests and habits. We find them so dear to buy or so difficult to borrow that most of us cannot read half the books we hear about. And 3/4 of what books there are, we never hear about at all. This is true even here in London. Here I am on the telephone to well-stored bookshops and all sorts of people from whom I can get advice. But the majority of my listeners tonight may be living in parts of the empire far away from the centres of book distribution. Mentally, many of them must suffer the torments of Tantalus. They perceive there is a great and refreshing flood of ideas, imaginative and informative matter, fantasy, poetical invention flowing through the English world, and they can get only a splash or so of it to their thirsty lips. In Great Britain, in the larger towns, you can buy a fair selection of the best books published, even quite new books, for from 6pence to a shilling. But in America, there are no really cheap books, and the great mass of the workers and poor people there never read books at all. There are public libraries, of course, where you can wait for books for quite a long time. Most of our 300 million English speakers, through no fault of their own, read nothing better than a few odd bit books that chance to come their way. They never acquire the habit of systematic book reading. English, which should be the key to all human thought and knowledge, is for them the key to a non-existent door. The reading, thinking section, the book reading section of the empire probably does not number 1 million all told. The rest either read newspapers or do not read at all. Now, before you blame the public or the schools or the booksellers for this immense illiteracy, this great mental underdevelopment, consider the difficulties of sending books about. Try sending a book, a good fat book, halfway round the world, and see what it costs you. You will realize that a special low postal rate for books and parcels of books, a special preference rate, a rate to encourage the sending of books, is one of the first things necessary before we can begin to realize the full cultural promise of our widespread English tongue. It is a matter that should concern every Ministry of Education. But does it? Book postage is not considered a public service. It is made a source of revenue. Now, until people like ourselves, who read and listen in and want to know, begin to make a fuss about it, matters will remain very much as they are. Cheap good books. And next comes the problem of how to hear of them, so that we may, from the ends of the earth, order the ones we really want and spend our sixpences properly. Well, probably half my hearers have never heard of what is called documentation. They think bibliography is something remote and scholastic. But really, bibliography is nothing more or less than indexing all that has been written in the world, so that you can find out quickly and surely what has been done, by whom, and under what title. Don't you want to know that? And do you know it? There are hundreds of clever people working out methods of indexing. In a little while it will be quite possible to print and keep up to date bibliographies, lists of all the best books in every great group of subjects in the world. It would be as easy to keep up such bibliography as it is to keep up the issue of railway timetables. The cost of producing these book guides need not be very much greater. I doubt if today 100,000 of us use any bibliographies at all. What is the good of reading unless you know what books to read? Bibliographies ought to lie about in every educated household. And another thing which we English speakers have a right to ask for, and that is a general summary of contemporary knowledge and ideas. A real modern adequate encyclopedia, kept up to date and available for the use of anyone. That would hold us all together as nothing else could do. We should all be of a mind, and nothing on earth would stand against us. But is there anything of the sort? No. The latest encyclopedia in my study is dated 1929, 8 years old, and it is very old-fashioned. Discovery and invention have been going on vigorously for the past 8 years. And how are we to learn quickly about that new stuff? Does anyone care? Do any of our education departments? The French just now, in spite of threats of war, in spite of great financial difficulties, are making a new and admirably planned encyclopedia. You may think an encyclopedia is something only rich people can afford to buy. It ought not to be. If you can afford a radio set, if you can afford a motor car, surely you could afford an adequate summary of human thought and knowledge in your house, if there was one to be got. Encyclopedias need not be as dear as they are, any more than books or bibliographies. Cheaper books, handy bibliographies, a great encyclopedia. Our English speaking needs all these things. When automobiles came along first, they seemed likely to become a rich man's monopoly. They cost upward of £1,000. Henry Ford authored all that. He put the poor man on the road. We want a Henry Ford today to modernize the distribution of knowledge, make good knowledge cheap and easy in this still very ignorant, ill-educated, ill-served, English-speaking world of ours, which might be the greatest power on earth for the good of mankind. Well, my quarter of an hour is drawing to an end. I haven't said half of what I would like to say. But if I have made you a little discontented with what is being done at present with this precious inheritance of ours, English, I shall not have used this little bit of time in vain.
If you like listening to this episode, let us know by giving us a like, a thumbs up, for the Modern Spiritual Podcast.
Now you can get notified when Modern Spiritual Podcast launches something new within our community. You will be the first to get the note via text message. All you have to do is text the word Modern Spiritual, then text 22828 and reply. That's 22828. Text the word Modern Spiritual 22828. It is that fast and simple to get the note from Modern Spiritual Podcast. Data rates may apply depending on your cellular carrier network.
Where do I begin in teaching you the lessons of life? All I can say to you, you have what it takes to make it happen.
I want you to stop limiting your beliefs. Limiting your beliefs is stunning your growth. Limiting your beliefs is putting you at a halt for you to get to the next level.
They looked at the most successful men and women of the world, and they found that they had like 7, 8 things in common. And one of the things they all had in common was a routine. They are obsessed with their routine. They don't have a gap of wasted time in their routine. You know, I realized the reason why I'm so successful and the reason why I don't get in trouble like I used to when I was younger is because when I was younger, man, my schedule had so many gaps in it. I got up the other day like at 3 o'clock in the morning and I woke up and I was just walking around I'm so tired. I heard the devil say, go back to sleep. I was like, yeah, you're right. I should go back to sleep. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie. I was like, bro, you on to something. I just got to get up at 3 and get all my work done before y'all get up. I just got to make all my phone calls while y'all still sleep. I just got to make all my phone calls while y'all partying.
In order for you to believe in yourself, in order for you to get to another level in life, you need to understand that winners win and losers lose. Winners don't make excuses on why they can't get something accomplished, but losers do. Winners stay consistent. Winners are the ones for the change in this world.
Oh, do you think you're too smart? You're strong enough. How do you think you're too strong? See, to be strong, I need you to be weak. I need you to be vulnerable and say, you know what, I can't do it by myself. I don't need this false humility. I need you to be real, because the next time you get an opportunity, you got to be ready, because we're turning dreams into reality. Let's make it happen right now. Me and you, let's make it happen right now. Me and you, because you're smart enough.
Losers, they have a limited belief system in their self of making excuses, procrastinating, being lazy.
And we're going to make it happen, my man. Hey, sister, we're going to make it happen, but you got to get out your comfort zone. You got to do something you've never done before to get something you never had. We got to make it happen, and you got to take advantage of it. You got to maximize the moment to make it happen.
So I'm talking to somebody right now because there's somebody that's believing in you and that's cheering you on and that's supporting you and they're rooting for you, but you're not doing what you need to do in order for you to maximize your potential. So right now you're being a loser. And what I need for you to do and what I need for you to become and who I need you to be is I need you to be a winner. Why? Because winners win and losers lose. So I need you to stop making excuses and I need you to move forward and I need you to change and I need you to do the things that you need to do in order for you to win. Because winners win.
The clock keeps ticking. I need you to rise up right now. And I need you to create something good. Make it happen. Let me break this down just for a moment. Make means to create something. Now, I'm not even going to talk about creating something good. I'm not going to talk about creating something bad. Make it happen. What I'm talking about is that when you make something, you create that thing. And so my question for you is simple. You already know how to create something. In fact, you've created something already. Don't look at me like that. Don't look dumbfounded. You are too old to realize that you have not made something already. You've been on this earth way too long not to understand that. You have been designed by God to create. You're innovative. You're passionate. But my question is, do you like what you have created so far? I mean, think about it. Based on your life up until this moment, do you like what you have created so far? Are you proud of what you created so far? Are you excited about what you created so far? By what you created so far, does it make you happy? See, I've seen millions of people who've been successful. I've seen millions of people that are successful. I mean, they made it happen. This whole world is full of people making it happen. So the question for you is right now, do you like what you made so far? See, successful people who make it happen and feel good about what they do, they listen to the right people. They wake up every morning, look in that mirror, and they feel good about themselves every single day. They contribute to society. They lift up other people. The contributions they make to this world aren't tearing people down. They are lifting people up. You've been making stuff happen your whole life. I got to ask you a question. I got to talk directly to you. Have you made the right thing happen?
Listen to me very closely. You keep saying you ain't on the next level because of the economy. You keep saying you ain't on the next level because of racism. You keep saying you ain't on the next level because it ain't the season. You keep saying you ain't on the next level because they don't love you. You keep saying you ain't on the next level because the opportunity ain't there. The truth of the matter is that you ain't there because you ain't there. Some of you, you know what you want. You know what you want, but you are not personally willing to do the work it takes to get it. What you're trying to do is do what you've done on this level and get the next level. You're trying to do exactly what you're doing on this level. You're like, I'm getting up every day. I'm putting in 2.5. I'm putting in 3, and I'm not getting the opportunity. The opportunity might require 3.5. I'm lifting weights. I'm eating right, and I'm not getting the opportunity. It might require getting up and working out 3.5. It might require you saying no to your friends. It might require you changing your diet. It might require you moving to another city. Whatever it takes, you got to be willing to do it. And you keep saying you're not there because of something else, because it's easier to blame somebody else. Because now you don't got to do no work when you blame somebody else. Guess who got to do the work? They got to do the work. But guess who got the power? They got the power. So what I'm telling you to do, since you hate being told what to do, you're going to have to fix yourself since you don't like nobody else telling you what to do. If you could fix procrastination, what would your life be like? You understand what I'm saying? People like, E.T., I want to do what you do. No, you don't. I'm my own boss. When I worked at Michigan State, I had to be to work at 9 o'clock. When I work for myself, I get up at 3. When I worked at Michigan State, I get to leave at 5. When you work for yourself, you don't have no time when you get off. You don't get off. You stop when the work is done. If you work for yourself, you'd be asleep all day. You'd be like, I work for myself. I'm good. I ain't even getting up today. You know what I'm saying? I'm just taking a day off. I'm just being real. There are those of you who work for yourself, you don't even have a plan. You don't even have like a vacation package for yourself. You just get to get off whenever you want to. What kind of job is that? You can just take off when you want to? That ain't no real job. You ain't got no insurance. You ain't paying yourself. But when you had a job, you could get there for them when they wanted you to get there. Oh, you had to tell them when you was going to be sick, when you want, but for yourself, you ain't got to do nothing. That's why you can't blow up. You ain't got enough discipline to discipline you.
I came today because I care about you. I came today because I love you. You got to make it happen, and it is who you are. It has got to be your focus. Every day, you got to focus on it. I made it to the NBA because I couldn't get it out of my mind. I couldn't get it out of my face. I worked on it every day, all day. I became a motivational speaker. I'm no different than you. I'm not smarter than you. But let me tell you one thing I understand. I had to make it happen, and so can you. Until you become accountable, it's hard for you to move. I need you to own it right now. Because when you raise your hands in victory, I want you to own that too. But right now, we got to make this move. What happened to you just now? I don't want to hear about your challenges. We all got them. I don't want to hear about your limitations. What? We all got them. I don't want to hear about your haters. What? We all got them. In fact, if you don't have haters, your vision is too small. If you don't have haters, you ain't been thinking big enough. Haters are a part of the landscape to make it happen. So can I ask you a question? What are you working on right now? But if you're going to make it happen, we got to build it from scratch. All you got to do is follow the recipe to success. The blueprint has already been set. Life is simple if simple principles are applied. I'm going to say that one more time. Life is simple if simple principles are applied. And I'm going to break it down even further in just a moment. There's no shortcut to your success. There is absolutely no shortcut to success. An inheritance gained quickly will not be blessed in the end. Ain't no fast money. Ain't no fast success. If it's fast, don't want it. If it's quick, run away. Success is like a slow drip. You already know what it takes to be successful. I just need you to believe. I just need you to buy in. I just need you to execute. You learned in the first grade what it took to be successful. You learned in the fifth grade what it took to be successful. You heard it over and over in high school, what it took to be successful. The key right now, you need to believe it.
That's it for this episode of 138 on the Modern Spiritual Podcast. That's whatever it takes. And before that, you heard H.G. Wells. And right now, we're going to leave it at here. And I'm going to leave a meditation for you guys with a new beginning. And till the next episode on Monday, which is going to be a very good episode. You want to check it out. And that's going to be the Forbidden Dead book. Don't know what it is? Tune in and you'll find out. But in the meantime, wherever you are around the world, thanks for listening. Subscribe to our podcast, like us, follow us, and subscribe to us on our YouTube and Facebook as well, and our Twitter. In the meantime, have a super fine one on this weekend. Until on Monday, the Morning Gratitude on the Modern Spiritual Podcast Live.
If you like listening to this episode, let us know by giving us a like, a thumbs up, for the Modern Spiritual Podcast.
This is Alchemy Coach Chip. I'd like to thank you for being a listener to the Modern Spiritual Podcast. It means a lot to me that you guys are subscribing and you're listening and passing this along to your friends to help keep you on the path to prosperity. Now you can listen to my other channel on the Modern Spiritual Podcast, The Path to Prosperity with the Lounge, with me, your host, Alchemy Coach Chip. I talk about the barriers, the tests, the things that go through from hell to heaven, and that's how you have to get to the other side. It's true experiences from the past to the present. Check it out on anchor.fm/Coach Chip.
Now you can get notified when Modern Spiritual Podcast launches something new within our community. You will be the first to get the note via text message. All you have to do is text the word Modern Spiritual, then text 22828 and reply. That's 22828. Text the word Modern Spiritual 22828. It is that fast and simple to get the note from Modern Spiritual Podcast. Data rates may apply depending on your cellular carrier network.